Hello and welcome to Cape Ann Report. I'm Greg Bover. I'm your host this week. Cape Ann Report is a weekly show about people and events and happenings around Cape Ann. Our guests today are Kurt Lichtenwald and John Barry, who are both engineering and technology teachers at Gloucester High School. And they've just won awards from the Massachusetts Technology, Education, and Engineering Collaborative. Kurt, your award was Teacher of the Year. And John, you were awarded for the program that you both teach in. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So let's start out by finding out just a little bit about the collaborative, the Massachusetts Technology, Education, and Engineering Collaborative. What is that?
It's a group of engineers and current teachers in engineering that are affiliated with Fitchburg State College and DESE, the Department of Education, Secondary Education, right? They're about promoting education and doing the strands and the standards for engineering in the state of Massachusetts, basically the MCAS.
So they've recognized the quality of your teaching and the program that you both are in, and so let's hear a little bit about the program, because as I understand it, the engineering program at Gloucester High School is one of a kind.
Yeah, it's unique. It started out as one engineering program and branched out from there. We were doing after-school robotics with the help of GEF and Gloucester Education Foundation, and we won several awards with FIRST Robotics. And because GEF's supposed to be an injection, not a full-time supplement, I asked them just to give us $28,000 and we would start an in-house program, and they did. They saw our vision and they thought it was a great idea. And that program has blossomed from one class of robotics to now 7 unique engineering classes, where most schools only offer one class in engineering.
And so, John, the program, engineering is now one of the sciences that's offered that qualifies as a lab requirement.
Exactly.
Is that right?
So it's one of the 4 pillars of science. So we have biology, chem, physics, and now engineers recognized too. And the national science standards are trying to increase engineering and the development of it. So they've actually infused it K through 12 at some level. So they want to start introducing students to problem solving, critical thinking skills, and thinking like engineers do.
Inquiry-based learning.
Right, because engineering by its very nature is inquiry-based. So they've seen that science in school and traditional learning has been very focused on the natural world, but not really on the man-made world that's been built upon it. And that meets students to what engages them already, from the screens that they're always in front of, the cars that they drive in, the buildings that we work in. So we have all this engineered material around us, all these engineered technologies, and the science department has seen that we've kind of lacked overall in teaching students how to work as engineers and think like engineers, and to kind of fill that deficit that's kind of developing, because as the world becomes more fast-paced around us, there's always a higher demand for engineers. So now they want to infuse that throughout the K through 12 curriculum, and we've focused very hard on developing our engineering field, so when they hit high school, we can kind of show them what to expect if they continue the path of engineering and go to school for it, and see what a real world application would feel like, and teach them those kind of skills.
In any of the STEM programs.
Right.
Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
Right, and that whole approach to problem solving and everything, I mean, that's what education is all about, in my humble opinion. To get people to think for themselves and to figure stuff out, not just load data into.
Right.
Yeah.
So so our program is built on experiences, because we learn through experiences. So there is a certain amount of material that we do teach where we have to be in stand and deliver because students need the opportunity to question concepts to really get a deeper understanding of the material. But then from that, we set them off on experiences to actually apply those concepts.
And a lot of time people get upset with the fact it's just STEM, not STEAM, that the A is missing, the arts are missing, where it's implied, but I prefer the STEAM aspect myself. And so when we actually start working with the robots or any other project like the 3D printing, it's bringing your artistic flair to your project too as a final product that we try to push the students to actually embrace.
Right, because it's about creativity as well.
Right.
And it seems to me that as time's gone on, I mean, 10 or 15 years ago, it might have been robotics almost for its own sake, but now it seems to me it's a little bit more, it can be a little bit more application-based. Is that right?
Yeah, we actually have honors programs now at the high school, electives, engineering, manufacturing design class, and advanced robotics, where the kids actually take a class like it's a grad class in college. The first semester is us lecturing in front of them with labs, but they have to get a little hands-on. But eventually we're teaching them to create their own projects. And so we give them the guidelines that they have to follow through to create a portfolio or a capstone project their first semester, and then we unleash them. And then they can do anything they want. They can focus as group projects or they can focus on the individual projects, whatever floats their boat. Blacksmithing, 3D printing, robotics, prototyping, circuitry, whatever they want, we just facilitate it.
Right, become self-directed at that point.
And you spoke about support that the program has gotten from GEF, and before when we were chatting, you mentioned former students and then some local companies that have also helped out.
Yeah, Applied Materials has been really helpful. A lot of the parents are workers at Applied Materials, and so instead of throwing stuff out, they would bring it to us. But my boys and girls got busted dumpster diving in their trash cans, and the CEO pulled them into class with the security guys, and once they explained what they were doing, the CEO said, just give me the list of the materials you need, I'll make sure you get them. So they've always, we haven't sought them out for money. It's most of the time it's equipment, and like when they just revamped their section on multimeters, we just got a whole bunch of Fluke multimeters. So, it just gives the kids experience with equipment that they would normally not get until college.
And how's that working out for the students, John, when they go on to college?
It's working out fantastic. So students usually report back and show us their curriculum for their freshman year, and they say, thanks guys, I'm doing a lot of repetition, but it's making me feel very comfortable, because you look at their curriculum and it's what we've already instructed to, so they could do that final project their first day in their freshman class. So it's increased their comfort level. It's helped them become leaders in their classrooms, in their college level classrooms, and hopefully after they have that foundation, they feel like a leader in their class, that they'll just continue throughout their college career and into their future career beyond that.
And one of the things we try to instill in our program is that once you leave Gloucester High School, you're still part of our community, and when you're successful, it's important for you to come back and give back, whether it's through GEF or dropping equipment off. But if you could just coming and visiting and having a lecture in front of the students, telling them what you've achieved. And if you don't come into our class, if you do come in our class and you say nothing's changed, then we haven't done our job. But when you say, oh my God, how come we didn't have that when I was in the school, then we know we're doing our job correctly.
Mm-hmm. Well, you have to keep up with the technology too, which must be a challenge.
Exactly, and thanks to the GF for that part too. They help infuse our program with the funds we need to stay current and stay competitive.
They've made a big difference in Gloucester education.
Absolutely.
Without them, this program would be one engineering class.
Well, I also wanted to pick up on something you said before. You mentioned boys and girls, and I think a lot of people think of engineering as a male-dominated thing, and it may be yet, but my understanding is that that's beginning to change, and you have a lot of young women in your classes?
Yes. We do a big push where we go down to the middle school and we bring an eclectic group down to show the students it's not just the brainiac that's in this, it's the captain of the football team, it's the captain of the cheerleading team, and we bring a lot of the girls now are just blossoming into this program because we're not dictating to them what they have to do. They can actually use their own creativity and go in the direction that they want to actually achieve.
So,
And there's a lot of scholarships for females right now for engineering.
oh, of course.
A huge push. And that's one of the big carrots that we put out there. We're like, well, if you take this class, the chances of you getting into an engineering school, especially with the level of education that you leave this class with, this prepares you for early entry into college.
So in Gloucester, we've got a few companies that are technology-based, and also, well, we've got a nonprofit that's now famous for its Snotbot.
Right.
Is there a tie-in with Ocean Alliance and Ian Kerr and those folks?
Do you want to take it?
I think you've had a lot of experience with them too, but I'd say we get a lot of students that come from some of the projects that they're doing come into my freshman level class, my honors class usually. Right. So we do offer the honors track, and they come in with a lot of experience. And then if you take my honors level class, it actually makes you eligible for some of the upper level advanced courses sooner too. So we find that they end up going through, and they're leaders in the classroom. In the upper level, they may be a sophomore and surrounded by junior students, but having gone through that Ocean Alliance program,
Yeah.
they become leaders in the classroom.
And they're not intimidated by the technology because they've been exposed to quadcopters, speed controllers at the robotics program at the paint factory,
Right.
which is every Wednesday night, by the way.
Ah, good. That's a good plug. Well, we have just a couple of minutes left. You brought a lot of cool stuff. We don't have time to talk about all of it, but let's talk about this double helix over here for just a minute.
Sure. This double helix does not exist in the world. So we had John was involved in a 3D printer grant and through GEF. And go ahead, why don't you talk about the printer?
So at first, initially, we were thinking that maybe it would just be some desktop units, which are relatively common in middle schools and other high schools too. But then through further discussion, we talked about some possible ideas of actually doing a professional level prototyping machine. So we wrote the grant and were approved for an industry professional level machine, which is capable of producing any kind of color that you could produce on your inkjet, which is not typical of your standard desktop printers.
Right.
And additionally with that, we can produce like over a dozen pieces of material in one print. So we were able to, we showed the kids what the capabilities were, and we kind of let them run wild with an idea. We started talking to other departments. We asked the biology department what they would like for a model. And from there, one of these kids in Kurt's class actually he ran with the ball on this one and really kind of took it through the math department, took it to other biologists and other genetics teachers, and found out all the theory and just kept coming after prototype after prototype to come up with this final
This
solution.
is model 16 of the batch, and with the student's name, by the way, Ryder Enos. His father's a teacher at Gloucester High School. Did this, and that's one of the great things. They get to put their name on it forever. But we gave this to GEF, Maggie Rosa, and she passed it out, and I put it on the line, and now online now, and now we're getting emails from biology teachers from all over the world, Italy, China, that want this copy. So now we're just in the process of packaging them through DECA at the high school.
Oh, that's a great idea.
And using them to actually promote this.
Yeah.
Because there's only so much that we can do. We're busy trying to be facilitators in our own room, let alone when packaging and selling.
Well, this is an amazing level of technology at our own Gloucester High School. I wish we had more time to discuss the program and the things you brought, but we're already out of time. Congratulations to both of you on these awards. It's just a fantastic thing. I'm so glad to hear that GEF work is bearing such fruit, and I know you guys have had a lot of late nights and a lot of deep thought about how to help the kids, and it's much appreciated.
And
So
what's great about this
congratulations,
is
and
also
thank
it goes, because of the state awards now, we're actually being pushed up to the federal awards level now. So that's
terrific.
hopefully
Well, good
that
luck
works
with
out
that.
too, yeah. But thank you.
That's all the time we have. Thank you for watching Cape Ann Report. I'm Greg Bover. Goodbye.